Welcome back to another episode of Random Acts of Finance. Oh, guys, let me tell you something about AMC. I didn't lose any money. They said I'd lose some money. They said I'd be poor on the street. I'm not, man. I didn't make all the money I could, but I didn't lose money. So I guess that's the best part of this market right now, not losing money.
Yeah, you
So
paper hands it too early.
I did, but I was diamond hands for too long, and the diamonds started cutting my hands up. So I finally was like, "All right, time to get some paper hands." 'Cause
Yeah.
let go of this. Do you guys own AMC at any
No,
point?
I am not allowed to, so I cannot.
Lucky you. Lucky you didn't get to ride the roller coaster. I mean, I guess now maybe unlucky you, but I don't. I
Yeah.
think more so overall lucky you.
Yeah.
What about you, Nish?
Yeah, I've been on and off of it. It's been lost every time I've gotten AMC.
Yeah, the first short squeeze is when I had like 40-ish shares. I don't remember how many shares I had. 'Cause I just hit. I was like, yo, just never like. I was just sitting, letting it sit there and watching like the burning in my portfolio every day, and then every day would go to like 13 here and there. Some days it would just go to 13. I was like, should I stop the burning? Because I bought in at like 17 something, 17.25, and I was like, no, it'll happen, right? Like everything, like we're reopening, something will happen. And yo, the second it hit $20, I was like, let's leave. And yo, I messed that up because it was at like $70 at one point, and I'm so sad. I'm so sad, so sad. But this kind of leads into the question of what are you guys doing with the volatility in the market?
So me, I'm somewhat still playing with the market. I have definitely switched up more into crypto. I still keep buying the dips on Bitcoin and Ethereum.
We haven't stopped dipping, buddy.
Hey man, one day it will stop, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've switched mostly to that, but I still do, here and there. I'll still buy the big, S&P funds and all that stuff. So I still put money into that. Kind of just riding it out. I know some days we hit those big green days, and then I'm like, all right, now I gotta wait, but wait for that red in the market, and I just purchase more S&P. But I haven't done much research recently, so I haven't done any analysis on anything. I know there's a bunch of like marijuana stocks that are trying to pop up, especially with Vegas passing their new law of you can create like indoor consumable venues, so like bars and clubs for smoking inside, because
Oh wow.
currently you can buy it, but you can only smoke it at home. That's it.
Yeah.
And people who are like flying to Vegas to buy, they don't really have a home, so legally they can't smoke anywhere.
Yeah.
So they just passed a law recently
That
where
makes sense. That
yeah
makes a
they're
lot
they're,
of sense for some
they're
like
gonna start
for a
offering
place like Vegas. Yeah.
licenses, to businesses who want to create those kind of things. So
Oh
and
wow.
there's a big company, Planet, that does a lot with marijuana,
Mm-hmm.
and they have huge facilities where they kind of had already planned for this. So now they finally will get to use this. So Planet 13 and all those guys are good looks that I'm trying to get into. But other than that, there isn't much that I haven't looked into.
For me, I kind of fell back and started focusing more on my dividend portfolio. So I've done a couple buys, just kind of like whatever stocks I have. I think I have like close to 70 stocks in that portfolio. So I just look through, find ones that I was eyeing, and just kind of like buy some more. The main one I kind of bought was AT&T. They've recently had news with their Discovery merger with Warner Media. So we'll see what their new streaming service brings. So that kind of got me into AT&T. And I bought Nike as things starting to open up again. I feel like people might want to try to go hiking or stuff more, just be more active. So maybe they'll be buying some athletic wear.
Yeah.
And I think especially the AT&T, the merger thing, it's funny, like how these companies, they all rushed to buy all these like media, like online media companies, like what Verizon bought, or they have partnership with Disney when they offer you Disney Plus if you're a Verizon member or whatever,
Yeah.
and then AT&T gives you HBO and stuff. So I feel like they rushed into that because they felt like they were putting in the hard work, and all these media companies were making more of the money. Because if you look at it, I think AT&T's market cap is like 200 some billion, and Netflix is about the same. and Netflix doesn't pay for any extra traffic, right? But AT&T has to maintain a lot of that traffic. So there's been a bunch of news about how AT&T should, or like these telecom companies should go like the route of Amazon, where they've already laid down the pipes. They can sell that extra bandwidth, like AWS. So that's something that potentially they could look into. But I think with these mergers, I just feel like they just rushed into buying these companies. Like when AT&T bought Time Warner, they just rushed because they're like, oh, we're already kind of paying for this traffic because we laid down the pipes, and they haven't. So I think it's just something to look out for. I think AT&T and all these telecom companies could benefit long term, but I think they got to make the right moves because there's a lot of competition already out there. Like Microsoft and Amazon and Google are already in the space, kind of laid down the pipes. So
That's very true. I was thinking didn't realize how many how many good channels that Discovery had. I was like, I get Discovery Channel's cool, but I'll just watch what it is on YouTube. Like I don't need it. But they have I think they have HGTV, like the food channel and stuff like that. Like those are like the main channels some people watch, I feel like.
Yeah.
So like that's like at least a really valuable asset that at best you could sell off, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll split it up, but I do
Yeah.
know, like I remember there was a time where we would sit down and just watch the food channel while eating our food because that made our food taste better. So
how the brain works. It's so funny how the brain works. Yeah, I remember. I
Yeah.
remember doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's going
I think the
better.
merger is definitely something that would be good, but I think there's ways for AT&T and Verizon, all these guys, to make more money off the pipes they've laid. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a good place to invest, in my opinion.
Going back to this volatility in the market, for me, so everything has been volatile, and I have been saying for so long that I was like, I'm going to take a step back. So what I've seen is like every green day is something that like I don't 100% believe in. That was kind of like anything speculative. If
Yeah.
I can break even or make a little bit of a profit on it, I sell. I've been selling to go more in the cash, to have more cash on hand, because either everything's going to get really expensive or everything's going to get really cheap. And I'm in the mindset now that I'm willing to pay a little bit more to know that I'm not sitting at a crash at this point. So I'm consolidating. So I'm at this point where I'm just like, I bought like things that I feel like the only things I bought are I bought Penn Gaming because I felt like it was undervalued. It was at $80 a share when I bought it, and then I bought Lumber Liquidators just based off the housing market, right? And I don't think the housing market bubble is really going to crash because at least here in this area, like the demand, there's not enough supply. Like there's not enough supply.
So is Lumber Liquidators like? Do they actually like
provide lumber?
Cut lumber, or do they like just are they like a Home Depot where they just sell hardwood flooring and stuff?
I believe they acquire and sell to
Home
builders.
builders.
So I don't know if they're the ones that literally cutting the wood, but
Yeah.
I do think they're a wholesaler to them at
I
that
got
point. I think they are in play for getting like these big home builders their lumber. So yeah, I mean it's at I think when I bought it was like $22-ish.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not trying to make a ton of money off it. I think this is just like a next few months. This isn't a very long-term play. This is next few months where I don't think the housing market is going to slow down right now just because inventory doesn't exist. I mean, inventory doesn't exist. I mean, and we're at a shortage of everything in the world right now for some reason. And lumber was one of those things at some point. I think if there's a surge, it's going to happen now, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean the shortage is definitely the compounded effect of one thing being short causing another thing to be delayed, to be another thing to be delayed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we're definitely gonna be in this for a while, and especially since all these prices are high, all the home builders don't want to build as fast. They want to be like, hey, we're gonna really charge extra for all the stuff, so we gotta go a little bit slower. So I think probably all of 2021, maybe even sometime mid 2022, probably still be in this. But
yeah, I don't think I'm gonna hold that long. I think this is like a 2-3 month thing where that 22 gets to like 30 some dollars. If it gets to $31-32, I'm gonna pull out. I'm still worried about the entire market. If the entire market comes collapsing down, Lumber Liquidators isn't going to be the one standing at the end of the fire, like through the ashes. It's literally lumber. It's going to burn too. So I bought that. I think CCIV is doing okay right now. That came back a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to sell it now or like
Is that above your purchase price?
It
Your
has
average
never gone
cost?
under. It never went under for me. I
Oh,
bought it
okay.
like
Oh, you didn't. Okay, you didn't continuously buy.
no, I didn't. I was
Okay.
good with my like I think I had like 50 shares, something like that. I was good with it.
Mhm.
I was like, it was. I don't know if it's gonna become like a Tesla, like Lucid is gonna become a Tesla. I don't know what they're gonna do. So I'm just sitting in this holding position where I'm like, y'all supposed to roll out cars at the end of the year. I'm just sitting and
Yeah.
waiting. But
I
part
mean,
of me is like, yeah,
they have the excuse of the chip shortage too. So
yeah, that's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking like maybe should I just take my profits right now or cut it down, cut my shares in half and just go to cash. And like
Yeah.
worst case, I'll pay a premium later. And I think that's partly what I'm gonna start doing with like a lot of stuff outside of like my blue chips like Microsoft that I have and
Yeah.
like
yeah, maybe you can just
Ford.
sell enough to cover your initial cost, and then
Yeah, that's probably what
the
the best
rest.
bet is. Yeah, at
Yeah.
least get that money back. Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing with everything. There's a lot of green stocks that slowly are creeping back right now.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to recoup, put it in cash, and then or move it to S&P 500 because whatever. I mean, I'll make it back in the next 10 years. No big deal, right? Like
Yeah.
some of these companies, I don't know if they'll be around in 10 years. Who knows? So I think we'll see. And
Yeah.
then yeah,
I've got a few positions where I'm up like maybe even 500% on
Yeah.
some of them, and I'm like, do I want to take profit now? Because every day I see it. There's somebody like they're like, okay, I was at 500 yesterday, 500%. Now I'm at like 498 or 492%. And I'm like, is it gonna keep falling or should I? Because these are like not very, I guess, highly researched stocks that I invest into. It was much of a speculative bet. You just paid off. So
yeah,
I'm trying to see, does it make sense to cash out, take the profits? Because those same ones that were at 500%, they were at almost at some points like over 700%.
Yeah.
So I've seen it fall about 200%. So that's why I'm trying to see, does
Bro.
it take?
I mean, like Plug, right at the height of everything, Plug
Yeah.
was sitting at $73, and I got into those. I'm still 3x right now, right? But I'm like, when this Biden bill eventually comes, it's not happening this year. Fine, COVID's still a thing. It's gonna happen in his presidency, I imagine. There's some bill that's gonna bring the hype for green energy. All of this stuff is gonna shoot up, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
Plug is gonna shoot up. Like I have PBW, which is Power Shares Winder Hill Clean Energy Portfolio. So it's like an ETF for green energy. All this
Okay.
stuff that I'm like mad down on is
Yeah.
gonna skyrocket at some point. So it's like I have to be patient. Is what I'm trying to tell myself with everything green. I'm like, if it's not this year, it's okay. It can be in 5 years. Like it's just that I was hoping this green bill, initiative bill, like not the super green like AOC one, just like the
Yeah.
hey, let's maybe not dump garbage in the ocean anymore, or especially into wells where we drink water. Let's just stop doing that. Like
Well,
that bill.
we have to create mutants, you know.
No, we don't. We did that. It didn't work. Yeah, so I don't know. I think crypto is also another thing that I think we'll talk about in another video, which I'm gonna ramble on because I did like I haven't been consolidating the stock market because it hasn't gone up enough or down enough for me to consolidate right now. I'm just like, okay, one day we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a push in crypto too, with mining with green energy versus I guess gray energy.
I think
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. It's too early, like for
Yeah.
Bitcoin to figure out how to do that. It will happen though. I do think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, who knows how long? Like, I don't want to go into it too long, but like, I don't know how long Bitcoin is gonna be Bitcoin, right? Like,
Yeah.
eventually gold wasn't worth what gold was worth, right? Like, it's still worth a lot, but it's not looked at as the same way as another asset is. But
That's true.
yeah, I mean, that's how I'm dealing with volatility, man. I guess I need to buy a little bit like of the S&P 500 a little bit more. Because that's what's done fine still at this point. It's still balanced everything.
Yeah, I mean, the most of the stuff in there is blue chip stuff that like kind of balances out a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, like I have some high dividend S&P 500 stocks, and like they're the ones that are doing fine. Not my ARC anything. All my ARCs are doing terribly right now. You guys got anything else?
Yeah, I think that was it.
All right, I want you to know how are you guys dealing with volatility? Not doing well. Mental health is low because of volatility. So it got Meet Kevin running for governor. That's what's happening to him. It's making people do crazy things. Just tell us how you're dealing with volatility. Make sure you're subscribed. We're gonna talk crypto probably
Hit that
very
like
soon.
button.
Hit the like button. make sure you put the bell, because we're going to talk about crypto a lot, because I think that's where money is flowing right now, because can't be manipulated by Robinhood just stopping trading. That can't happen because there's too many places to buy crypto and it's too easy. So make sure you make sure you subscribe and tell us how you're doing volatility. And we'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye now.